The darkness of space stretched endlessly before the ESS horizon, a vessel that had traveled farther from Earth than any ship before it. Captain Daniel Hayes stood on the bridge, watching the stars through the massive viewport. He had been in command of deep space missions for 12 years, but something about this region felt different, wrong even. "Captain, we're picking up something strange," said Dr. Lisa Morrison from her station. The xenobiologist had joined this mission hoping to find traces of alien life. She was about to get more than she bargained for. Daniel walked over to her console. "What kind of strange?" "A signal. But it's not like anything in our database. It's old, sir. Very old." Lisa's fingers danced across her screen, pulling up data that made no sense. "The computer estimates this signal has been traveling through space for at least 10,000 years. Lieutenant Jake Palmer, the tactical officer, looked up from his station. "Could it be natural? Some kind of pulsar or cosmic phenomenon?" "No," Lisa said firmly. "This is artificial. Someone made this. Someone wanted it to be heard." Commander Helen Reyes, the second in command, moved closer. "Can we trace the source?" Lisa worked for several minutes, her face growing pale. "I have coordinates. It's coming from a system about 40 light years from here, but there's something else." She looked at Daniel with fear in her eyes. "I'm detecting hundreds of other signals now. All the same pattern. All coming from the same direction." Daniel felt his stomach tighten. "Show me." The main screen lit up with a map of nearby space. Red dots appeared one by one, each representing a signal source. There were not just hundreds. There were thousands. And they were all moving in the same direction, in perfect formation. "My God," Helen whispered. "That's a fleet." "Not just a fleet," Jake said, his military training kicking in. He was already running tactical analysis. "That's an armada. Each of those dots represents a ship the size of a small city." "I've never seen anything like this." Daniel's mind raced. First contact protocols demanded caution, but his instincts screamed danger. "Lisa, can you determine their course?" The xenobiologist worked quickly. Minutes felt like hours. When she finally spoke, her voice shook. "They're following a specific pattern, moving from system to system. I'm cross-referencing with astronomical data to see which systems they've already visited." The computer processed the information. What it showed made everyone on the bridge go silent. Every system the Armada had visited was dead. No radio signals, no light signatures, no signs of technological civilization. Planets that should have been bustling with activity were now as silent as tombs. "How many?" Daniel asked quietly. 47 systems, Lisa answered, all previously showing signs of advanced life. All now silent. Helen grabbed the edge of the console. "They're not explorers. They're exterminators." Jake was already plotting trajectories. His face went white. "Captain, you need to see this." Daniel looked at the projection. The Armada's path was clear, mathematical, inevitable. They moved through the galaxy in a grid pattern, systematically eliminating every technological civilization they encountered, and their next destination was already calculated. "Earth," Daniel said. "They're heading to Earth. How long?" Helen asked. Jake checked his calculations twice. "At their current speed, 18 months. Maybe 20 if they stop at the two systems between here and Sol." The bridge fell silent. 18 months until humanity faced an enemy that had been destroying civilizations for thousands of years. An enemy with technology so advanced it made Earth's best weapons look like children's toys. Daniel straightened his shoulders. He was a captain and his crew needed him to be strong. "Lisa, I want everything you can gather on that Armada. Every scrap of data. Jake, analyze their weapons, their tactics, anything that might help Earth prepare. Helen, compose a message to Earth Command. Priority 1, maximum encryption." "What should I tell them?" Helen asked. Daniel looked at the red dots on the screen, hundreds of massive ships carrying death across the stars. "Tell them we found alien life. Tell them it's coming for us. Tell them to prepare for war." The message was sent through quantum channels traveling faster than light itself. It would reach Earth in hours. Daniel imagined the chaos it would cause. The panic, the fear, but there was no choice. Humanity needed every second they could get. Over the next few days, the Horizon maintained a safe distance from the Armada, gathering data. What they learned was terrifying. Each ship in the fleet was kilometers long, built from materials that didn't appear in any periodic table. Their weapons could crack planets. Their shields could withstand star-level radiation. They moved through space without visible propulsion. bending the laws of physics as casually as humans bent wire. Lisa discovered something else. "Captain, I've been analyzing debris fields near the systems they destroyed. There are patterns in the wreckage." "What kind of patterns?" "Whoever these aliens are, they don't just destroy. They test first. They probe defenses, learn everything about their target, then attack with overwhelming force. They're not just powerful. They're smart." Jake added his own grim findings. "I've counted the ships carefully. There are 843 vessels in that armada. If even one of them reached Earth, it could destroy our entire military in minutes." "All of them together?" He shook his head. "We wouldn't last an hour." Daniel received the response from Earth 3 days later. It was brief. "Return home immediately. All defense forces mobilizing. God help us all." As the horizon turned toward Earth, Daniel stood at the viewport one last time, watching the armada continue its methodical march across the galaxy. Somewhere ahead of them, 2 more civilizations were about to die, and they probably didn't even know it yet. "Do you think we have a chance?" Helen asked quietly, standing beside him. Daniel wanted to lie to offer hope, but Helen deserved the truth. "No, not against that. The only question is whether we go down fighting or begging." "Maybe we'll surprise them," Helen said, but her voice held no conviction. "Maybe," Daniel replied, but he didn't believe it either. The horizon jumped to faster-than-light travel, racing toward Earth. Behind them, the armada continued forward, patient and unstoppable. They had destroyed civilizations for thousands of years. They had perfected the art of extinction, and now their ancient, terrible gaze had turned toward a small blue planet in an unremarkable corner of the galaxy. Planet called Earth. A planet that had no idea what was coming. A planet whose people would soon cry out to every god they had ever worshipped, begging for salvation. But in the cold mathematics of space, in the face of technology that seemed almost magical in its power, prayer seemed like a poor defense. The journey home would take weeks, even at maximum speed. Daniel spent those weeks reviewing the data again and again, searching desperately for some weakness, some flaw in the armada's pattern. He found nothing. The aliens were perfect killers refined by millennia of practice. On the final night before reaching Earth, Daniel gathered his senior staff. "Tomorrow we'll be home," he said. "We'll give our report, share everything we learned. Then the real work begins. Humanity has 18 months to prepare for something we can't possibly defeat." "What if we run?" Lisa asked. "Take colony ships, scatter humanity across the galaxy?" "They'll hunt us down," Jake said. "That's what they do. They don't stop. They don't negotiate. They just move from system to system, wiping the board clean. Then we make them pay for every inch," Helen said firmly. "If we're going down, we go down fighting." Daniel nodded. "Agreed, but there's something else. Something we need to remember." He looked at each of them. "We're about to tell Earth that the universe is not empty. That we're not alone. That there are things out there older and more powerful than we ever imagined. For many people, this will shatter everything they believed about humanity's place in creation. Maybe it's time we learned some humility," Lisa said softly. Daniel thought about that as the horizon dropped out of faster-than-light travel, and Earth appeared before them, beautiful and blue and fragile. Somewhere on that planet, people were going about their lives, unaware that death was coming from the stars. 18 months. The countdown had begun. The news spread across Earth like wildfire. Within hours of Captain Hayes's report, every government knew the truth. Within days, every person on the planet had heard the words that changed everything. They were coming. President Maria Santos stood in the Emergency Council chamber deep beneath Geneva, surrounded by leaders from every nation. The room that had once debated trade agreements and climate policy now faced humanity's extinction. "We have 18 months, she said, her voice steady despite the fear in her eyes. "Admiral Cole, what are our options?" Admiral Gregory Cole was a man who had spent 40 years in military service. He had commanded fleets, won battles, earned medals. None of it mattered now. "Madam President, I've reviewed Captain Hayes's data with our best tactical minds. The answer is simple. We have no options." The room erupted in protests, but the Admiral raised his hand. "Please, let me finish. Our most powerful weapons are nuclear missiles. Against the Armada's shields, they would be like throwing rocks at a tank. Our ships are fast, but theirs can cross light years in days. Our best armor would be like paper to their weapons. Then what do?" demanded the Chinese premier. "Just wait to die?" "We fight," Admiral Cole said firmly. We fight because that's what humans do. We'll make them pay for every inch of our planet. But I won't lie to you. We cannot win. President Santos looked around the room. She saw fear, anger, desperation. Then we look for other options. Dr. Cross, what about your team? Dr. Nathan Cross stepped forward. He was young for a lead physicist, barely 40. But his work on quantum mechanics had won him recognition worldwide. We've been exploring every theoretical possibility. Wormhole weapons, dimensional shields, quantum bombs. The problem is that these aren't just difficult to build. Most of them violate the known laws of physics. The aliens clearly don't care about our laws of physics, someone muttered. Exactly, Nathan said, which tells us they understand things we don't. Things that might take us centuries to learn. We don't have centuries. We have 18 months. Amy Liu, a young engineer who specialized in artificial intelligence, spoke up hesitantly. What if we tried to communicate with them? Maybe we could negotiate. Admiral Cole shook his head. Captain Hayes tried. They sent every standard greeting, every peace offering in the database. The Armada didn't respond. They never respond. They just destroy and move on. The meeting continued for hours, but no solutions emerged. Finally, President Santos dismissed the council. There would be more meetings, more desperate planning, but for now people needed to process the impossible truth. That night, something remarkable happened. It started in Jerusalem, where thousands gathered at the Western Wall, then in Mecca, where millions bowed in prayer. In Vatican City, the Pope led a vigil that filled every street. In temples across Asia, monks chanted ancient prayers. In churches, mosques, synagogues, and temples worldwide, humanity did the only thing left to them. They prayed. They prayed to Jesus and Allah and Yahweh. They prayed to Buddha and Krishna and the spirits of their ancestors. They prayed to gods whose names had been forgotten and gods who had never been named. For the first time in human history, every major religion held simultaneous prayer vigils. Billions of voices rose as one, crying out to any higher power that might exist. Please, they begged, save us, protect us. We are your children. Do not let us perish. But the stars remained silent. Months passed. Earth's governments threw every resource into defense. Factories that once made cars now made warships. Scientists who once studied medicine now studied weapons. Every person on Earth was conscripted in some way, building, planning, preparing for the inevitable. Admiral Cole commanded the construction of a defensive fleet. In orbital shipyards, hundreds of vessels took shape. They were fast, armed with humanity's best weapons, crewed by volunteers who knew they were probably flying to their deaths. The Admiral looked at them with pride and heartbreak. They were magnificent. They were also utterly inadequate. Dr. Nathan Cross worked 18-hour days in his laboratory. His team explored wild theories, desperate ideas. They built weapons that worked in simulations but failed in reality. They designed shields that collapsed under their own power. They discovered nothing that could stop the Armada. One night, exhausted and defeated, Nathan stood outside his laboratory and looked up at the stars. "If you're out there," he said to the empty sky, "now would be a good time to show yourself." The stars didn't answer. Amy Liu focused on artificial intelligence, hoping that a machine intelligence might see solutions humans missed. She created the most advanced AI ever built, fed it every piece of data about the Armada, and asked it for a strategy. The AI thought for 3 days. Its answer was mathematical, precise, and devastating. Probability of human victory, 0.0013%. Recommended action, none. Outcome is inevitable. Amy deleted the AI and started over. She built another, more optimistic version. It gave the same answer. Around the world, people stopped what they were doing and prayed. Not just once, but constantly. Churches stayed open 24 hours a day. Prayer groups formed in every city, every town, every village. People who had never believed in God suddenly fell to their knees. People who had always believed prayed harder than ever before. "Please," they cried. "Please, we're begging you. Send us a miracle. Send us a savior. Send us anything." The heavens remained silent. Captain Daniel Hayes returned to space with the ESS Horizon, leading scouting missions to track the Armada's progress. He watched as 2 more civilizations died. The aliens struck with brutal efficiency. First, they destroyed all satellites and orbital defenses. Then they bombarded population centers. Then they systematically eliminated any remaining technology. Finally, they moved on, leaving dead worlds behind. "That's what's coming for us," he told his crew. "That's what we have to stop." But he knew they couldn't. 14 months after the initial discovery, the Armada crossed into the outer solar system. They swept past Neptune, ignored Uranus, barely glanced at Saturn. They had one destination, and nothing would deter them. Admiral Cole positioned his fleet between Earth and the approaching Armada. 800 warships, humanity's finest. Against them came 843 alien vessels, each capable of destroying planets. All ships, this is Admiral Cole, he broadcast on all channels. Today we fight for our world, for our families, for our future. We may not win, but we will show them that humanity does not surrender. We will show them that Earth is defended. We will show them that we die on our feet, not on our knees. The fleet cheered. On Earth, billions watched the broadcast and prayed harder. God, please, they begged. Send us strength. Send us hope. Send us salvation. The Armada entered weapons range. Admiral Cole gave the order. Humanity's fleet opened fire with everything they had. Missiles, lasers, railguns, nuclear weapons. The barrage lit up space like a new sun. The aliens' shields didn't even flicker. Return fire came. Beams of pure energy that cut through human ships like they were made of paper. In the first 30 seconds of combat, humanity lost 100 vessels. In the first minute, half the fleet was gone. Admiral Cole watched his forces die and refused to call retreat. All remaining ships, ram them if you have to. Make them remember us. The surviving warships charged forward, desperate and brave and doomed. The aliens destroyed them methodically, without mercy, without pause. On Earth, people watched their defenders die. They fell to their knees in streets, in homes, in churches. Millions of voices rose as one. Please! They screamed at the sky. Please, save us. We're begging you. Send us a miracle. President Santos stood in the command center, tears streaming down her face as she watched the last human ship explode. She had one final broadcast to make. People of Earth, she said, her voice breaking. We have fought. We have prayed. We have done everything we could. In minutes, the enemy will reach our atmosphere. I want you to know that I am proud to have served you. I am proud to die beside you. If there is a God, may he have mercy on our souls. She closed her eyes and prayed one final time. Please, if anyone is listening, if anyone cares, please help us. The Armada reached Earth's orbit. 843 massive ships, ancient and terrible, positioned themselves around the planet. Weapon ports opened. Humanity held its breath, and then something impossible happened. The ground beneath their feet began to shake. Not like an earthquake, like a heartbeat. Deep beneath the oceans, in the planet's core, something ancient stirred. Something that had been sleeping for millions of years. Something that had heard humanity's desperate prayers. Not from the heavens above, but from the earth below. Dr. Kevin Wright felt it first. As a seismologist, he spent his life studying earthquakes, volcanic activity, and tectonic shifts. He understood the language of the earth better than most people, but what he was seeing now made no sense at all. This is impossible, he muttered, staring at his monitors in the California research station. Every seismic sensor across the globe was going crazy, but not randomly. The readings formed patterns, rhythmic patterns, like a pulse. He called his colleague Sophie Green, a young geologist who had been tracking unusual magnetic readings. Sophie, are you seeing this? I'm seeing it, but I don't believe it, she replied from her station in Iceland. Kevin, the tectonic plates are moving. All of them. At the same time. That's not possible. Plates don't work that way. I know. But look at the data. They're not just moving. They're coordinating. Kevin pulled up a global map showing all seismic activity. Sophie was right. Every major tectonic plate on Earth was shifting, but not in response to natural geological processes. They were moving together like parts of a machine responding to a single command. It's like the planet is waking up, Sophie said quietly. Around the world, other scientists noticed similar impossibilities. The Earth's magnetic field, which normally fluctuated randomly, began pulsing in organized waves. Deep ocean currents changed direction simultaneously. Volcanic systems that had been dormant for centuries showed sudden activity. Captain Daniel Hayes watched from the ESS Horizon, which had survived the battle by staying back to record data. Lisa, what's happening down there? Dr. Lisa Morrison studied her sensors, her scientific mind struggling to accept what she was seeing. The planet is emitting energy, massive amounts of energy, from the core, from the mantle, from geological formations that shouldn't be able to generate power. What kind of energy? I don't know. It's not nuclear, not thermal, not anything in our physics books. It's something else. Something that's been dormant and now it's active. Lieutenant Jake Palmer was monitoring the alien armada. Captain, they've noticed it too. They're scanning the planet's surface. Their formation is tightening. I think they're confused. Good, Daniel thought. Join the club. On Earth's surface, the phenomena intensified. In Yellowstone National Park, geysers erupted in perfect synchronization. In the Mariana Trench, lights appeared in the deepest parts of the ocean. In the Himalayas, ancient rock formations began to glow with a soft blue light. Sophie Green stood on a volcanic ridge in Iceland, feeling the ground vibrate beneath her feet. The vibration had a rhythm to it, steady and strong, like a heartbeat, like something living. Kevin, she radioed, I need you to check something. Can you analyze the frequency of these seismic pulses? Already on it, Kevin replied from California. Sophie, this is crazy, but the frequency matches human neural patterns. Specifically, it matches the patterns we see when someone is waking from deep sleep. Sophie felt a chill run down her spine. What are you saying? I'm saying the planet is conscious, or something in the planet is conscious, and it's waking up. In the Emergency Command Center, President Maria Santos received reports from scientists around the world. None of it made sense. Physics was being violated. Geology was rewriting itself. The impossible was becoming real. Madam President, said one of her advisors, whatever this is, it started when the alien armada reached orbit. It's like Earth is responding to their presence. Or responding to us, said another advisor. Every major religion on the planet has been praying for days. Billions of people all asking for help. You're suggesting prayer caused this? President Santos said skeptically. I'm suggesting we cried out for help and something hurt us. High above the planet, the alien armada began charging their weapons. They had come to destroy this world like they had destroyed so many others. Whatever was happening below didn't matter. They would complete their mission. But deep in the Earth's mantle, something ancient and powerful opened eyes that had been closed for millions of years. The oceans began to glow. Not everywhere, but in specific locations. The Mid-Atlantic Ridge, the East Pacific Rise, all the places where tectonic plates met and new crust was born. The glow intensified, turning from soft blue to brilliant white. What is that? Admiral Gregory Cole demanded from his command station. He had survived the battle barely in a crippled ship. Unknown, sir, his sensor operator replied. But the energy readings are off the scale. Whatever's down there, it's more powerful than anything we've ever measured. In the Mariana Trench, the deepest point on Earth, something moved. Massive structures rose from the ocean floor, crystalline formations that had been hidden for eons. They were not natural. Someone had built them. Something had built them. Long before humans existed, these structures had been placed here, waiting for this moment. Sophie Green's sensors detected them first. Kevin, there are structures under the ocean. Huge structures. They're emerging from the seafloor all around the Pacific Ring of Fire. I'm seeing them too, Kevin confirmed. And similar structures are appearing at volcanic sites worldwide. Sophie, these things are old. I mean, really old. The rock around them dates back hundreds of millions of years. How is that possible? I don't know. But I think we're about to find out what they do. The crystalline structures began to resonate, generating waves that spread through the Earth's crust. The planet's magnetic field fluctuated wildly, forming patterns that scientists recognized but couldn't believe. The field was organizing itself, strengthening, expanding. Amy Lou watched from the AI research facility. Her instruments detected something her artificial intelligences had missed. The energy patterns coming from Earth matched quantum signatures. The planet was manipulating space-time itself. It's been here all along, she whispered, sleeping beneath our feet. We built our cities on it, dug mines into it, never realizing we were living on something alive, something ancient. The armada above prepared to fire. 843 ships, each capable of destroying a civilization, aimed their weapons at the planet below. They had waited long enough. Whatever was happening would not save this world. The aliens fired. Beams of energy capable of boiling oceans and cracking continents lanced toward Earth's surface. Humanity held its breath. This was the end. But the beams never reached the ground. Earth's magnetic field expanded outward like a shield, a bubble of force that surrounded the entire planet. The alien weapons struck this shield and dissipated harmlessly, their energy absorbed and scattered. In the command center, President Santos watched in disbelief. What just happened? The planet protected itself, breathed one of her scientists. The planet protected us. The aliens fired again, pouring more energy into their attack. The shield held. It didn't just hold. It grew stronger, feeding on the energy directed at it. Deep underground, Dr. Kevin Wright felt the earth pulse beneath him. The rhythm was faster now, more urgent, not the slow awakening of something stirring from sleep, but the quickening heartbeat of something preparing for battle. Sophie, he radioed, I think we need to get to higher ground. Why? Because I think Earth is about to fight back. Around the world, volcanic systems erupted simultaneously. But what emerged was not lava. Beams of pure energy shot from volcanic calderas, focused and precise. These beams reached into space, striking the alien ships with devastating accuracy. The Armada's shields, which had easily deflected human weapons, cracked under the assault. Ships exploded. Others retreated, trying to escape Earth's reach. They couldn't. The ocean trenches opened wider. The crystalline structures rose higher. They generated gravitational waves, localized distortions in space-time that caught the alien vessels like insects in a web. Ships trying to flee found themselves pulled back, held in place by forces they couldn't understand. Jake Palmer watched from the horizon, his tactical mind trying to process what he was seeing. They're trapped. The planet has trapped them. Not just trapped, Lisa Morrison said, her voice filled with awe and terror. It's hunting them. The atmosphere itself became a weapon. Storms formed in seconds, plasma clouds that engulfed alien ships and tore them apart at the molecular level. Lightning struck with impossible precision, each bolt finding a weak point in alien armor. Continental plates shifted, revealing massive structures buried in the Earth's crust. These structures were electromagnetic railguns, built from the planet's natural iron core, capable of firing projectiles at relativistic speeds. They opened fire, sending metal slugs into space that punched through alien vessels like bullets through paper. Captain Daniel Hayes watched an armada that had destroyed hundreds of civilizations get systematically dismantled by the very planet they came to conquer. My God, he whispered. Earth isn't just alive. It's a weapon. It's always been a weapon. The battle lasted less than an hour. When it ended, debris filled Earth's orbit. Of the 843 ships that had come to destroy humanity, only a handful remained. These survivors fled at maximum speed, broadcasting warnings on every frequency. Stay away from this system. Stay away from the Guardian world. Stay away from Earth. And then they were gone, vanishing into faster-than-light travel, carrying news of their defeat across the galaxy. Below, Earth's activity gradually subsided. The volcanic eruption stopped. The crystalline structures sank back into the... Admiral Gregory Cole had seen combat before. He had commanded ships in conflicts, made decisions that cost lives, witnessed the horror of war. But nothing in his 40 years of service had prepared him for watching a planet wage war. He floated in the damaged command station, holding onto a rail as his crew worked to restore basic systems. Through the viewport, he could see Earth below, beautiful and terrible. Around it, the debris of an alien armada drifted in slowly expanding clouds. Sir, we're getting energy readings from the planet's surface, reported his sensor operator, a young woman named Claire who had somehow kept her station operational through the battle. They're subsiding, but still far above normal levels. Define normal, Gregory said. I don't think we know what normal means anymore. On the ESS horizon, Dr. Lisa Morrison worked frantically to record everything. Her xenobiology training had prepared her to study alien life, but this was beyond anything she had imagined. She wasn't studying visitors from another world. She was studying Earth itself. Captain Hayes, you need to see this, she called out. Daniel moved to her station. What have you got? I've been analyzing the energy signatures Earth generated during the battle. They're not random. They're organized, complex, almost like neural patterns. Captain, I think the planet is thinking. That's impossible. So was everything we just witnessed. But look at this data. She pulled up a graph showing energy fluctuations. These patterns match quantum computing processes. The entire planet is acting like a massive computer, processing information at speeds we can't even measure. Lieutenant Jake Palmer joined them. I've been studying the weapon systems Earth deployed. They were strategic, precise. The planet identified the biggest threats first and eliminated them systematically. It fought like a trained military force. How does a planet learn to fight? Daniel asked. Maybe it doesn't need to learn, Lisa said quietly. Maybe it was built to fight. The words hung in the air. Built, not evolved, built. Down on Earth's surface, scientists scrambled to understand what had happened. Amy Lou had returned to her laboratory, where her AI systems had recorded the entire event. She fed the data into her most advanced analysis programs and waited for results. What came back made her blood run cold. President Santos, you need to hear this, she said over a secure channel. In the emergency command center, Maria Santos looked exhausted. She had not slept in 2 days. Her planet had just been saved by forces she didn't understand, and now she needed answers. What did you find, Dr. Liu? My AI analyzed the quantum signatures Earth generated during the battle. Madam President, these signatures match theoretical patterns for technology that shouldn't exist. Technology that would require understanding physics centuries beyond our current knowledge. You're saying the planet has advanced technology? I'm saying the planet is advanced technology. Or contains it. My analysis suggests massive structures buried deep in the crust and mantle. Structures that have been there for millions of years, waiting. Waiting for what? For a threat they were designed to counter. Madam President, I think Earth is a guardian. I think someone placed it here a very long time ago, to protect this system from things like that armada. Maria tried to process this. Who would do that? I don't know. But whoever they were, they had power beyond anything we can imagine. Dr. Kevin Wright and Sophie Green had reached similar conclusions. They stood together in a laboratory in Geneva, comparing their data with other scientists around the world. The crystalline structures in the ocean trenches, Sophie explained to a room full of researchers. I've dated the rocks surrounding them. They're at least 300 million years old. They were here before dinosaurs, before mammals, before almost everything we think of as life on Earth. Kevin added his findings. The structures in the Earth's crust show signs of intelligent design. They're positioned at specific points along tectonic boundaries, forming a network that covers the entire planet. This wasn't random. Someone engineered this, but why? Asked another scientist. Why would anyone build a weapon into a planet? Maybe they knew, Sophie said. Maybe whoever built this knew that someday, something like that armada would come. And they wanted to make sure life here had a chance. Then why didn't it activate before now? Someone asked. Why wait until we were almost destroyed? Kevin had been thinking about this. I have a theory. It's crazy, but so is everything else. What if it needed us? What if it required conscious life on the surface, crying out for help before it could wake up? It's like a security system that needs authorization to activate. You're saying our prayers triggered it? I'm saying our desperation, our collective will to survive might have been the key. Billions of minds, all focused on one desire, to live, to be protected. Maybe that was enough to wake something that's been sleeping for millions of years. In orbit, Captain Daniel Hayes received a transmission from Earth Command. They wanted the Horizon to investigate the debris field, to learn everything possible about the aliens who had come to destroy them. Jake, take us closer to one of the wrecked ships, Daniel ordered. As they approached the nearest alien vessel, Lisa studied it carefully. The ship was massive, easily 1 kilometer long. Its hull was torn open by forces that had ripped through metal like tissue paper. I'm detecting residual energy signatures, she reported. The same type Earth generated. Captain, whatever hit this ship, it completely overwhelmed their defenses. Our weapons couldn't even scratch their shields, but Earth just tore through them. Jake maneuvered the Horizon carefully through the debris field. Everywhere they looked, they saw the same thing. Alien ships crushed, torn apart, destroyed with brutal efficiency. There, Lisa pointed. That ship looks mostly intact. We might be able to board it. They suited up and crossed to the alien vessel. Inside, they found technology far beyond human understanding. Control systems that responded to thought, power cores that generated energy from dimensions humans couldn't detect, weapons that could destroy planets. All of it was useless now, torn apart by a force the aliens never expected to encounter. They came here thinking they were the apex predators, Jake said, examining an alien weapon system. They had no idea they were walking into a trap. Not a trap, Daniel corrected. A defense. Earth didn't lure them here. It just responded when they attacked. Lisa found something interesting in what appeared to be a data storage system. Captain, I think I can access their records. Give me a few minutes. She worked with alien technology, using her understanding of universal mathematical principles to decode their system. What she found confirmed their darkest fears. They've been doing this for thousands of years, she said, her voice shaking. I'm seeing records of destroyed civilizations going back at least 10,000 years. Maybe longer. They've killed trillions of intelligent beings. Why? Daniel asked. What's the point? I don't know. The data doesn't say, but there's something else. She pulled up a section of alien records. They have files on other systems they avoided. Places they marked as protected. Captain, Earth isn't the only guardian world. There are others. Jake looked at the star charts Lisa had accessed. How many others? At least 50 that I can see in this database. All of them marked with the same warning symbol. Do not approach. Protected territory. Protected by what? Daniel wondered. By things like Earth, Lisa said. By guardian worlds. Someone a very long time ago seeded the galaxy with defenses. They knew something like this armada would eventually arise and they prepared for it. The implications were staggering. Humanity had spent centuries thinking they were alone in the universe, insignificant specks in an uncaring cosmos. Now they learned they had been protected all along, watched over by something ancient and powerful beyond measure. Back on Earth, President Maria Santos addressed the world. Billions watched as she spoke. Today we learned that we are not alone, she said. We learned that our planet is more than rock and water and air. It is a guardian placed here by forces we don't yet understand. It protected us when we could not protect ourselves. She paused, choosing her next words carefully. Some will say their prayers were answered. Others will say this is proof of forces beyond religion. I cannot tell you what to believe. But I can tell you this, we have been given a gift. The gift of survival. The gift of time. And we must use that gift wisely. We must learn everything we can about what protected us. We must understand our place in a universe far stranger than we imagined. And we must be better stewards of this world, better to each other. Because we now know that Earth can protect us, but we don't know if it will always choose to do so. Around the world, people processed what had happened. Some fell to their knees in gratitude. Others looked at the ground beneath their feet with new wonder and fear. Everyone understood that their understanding of reality had fundamentally changed. In his laboratory, Dr. Kevin Wright continued studying the data. The more he learned, the more questions arose. Earth had fought with precision and purpose. It had deployed weapons that seemed designed specifically to counter the alien threat. It's like Earth knew exactly what was coming, he told Sophie. Like it had fought this battle before. Maybe it has, Sophie replied. 300 million years is a long time. 6 months after the battle, humanity was still coming to terms with its place in the universe. The world had not returned to normal. It never would. You couldn't go back to normal after watching your planet fight a war. Dr. Nathan Cross stood in his laboratory surrounded by data he still couldn't fully understand. His team had spent months studying the energy signatures Earth generated during the battle. The more they learned, the more questions arose. It's not just technology, he explained to a gathering of scientists from around the world. Technology implies something built, something separate. What we're seeing is more fundamental. Earth itself, its core, its mantle, the very fabric of the planet has been modified at a quantum level. Someone rewrote the laws of physics in this specific location. How is that possible? Someone asked. We don't know. We don't even know where to begin understanding it. Whoever did this had knowledge so far beyond ours that we might as well be insects trying to understand a computer. Sophie Green had made the most disturbing discovery. She had spent months digging through geological records, analyzing rock formations, studying evidence that went back hundreds of millions of years. What she found kept her awake at night. She presented her findings to a special session of the United Earth Council. President Maria Santos sat in the front row, along with Admiral Gregory Cole and other world leaders. I've identified 5 previous events in Earth's history where the planet showed unusual activity, Sophie began, displaying her data. The Permian extinction, 250 million years ago. The Triassic extinction, the one that killed the dinosaurs. And 2 others that we previously attributed to natural causes. She paused, letting that sink in. Each time, the geological evidence shows the same patterns we saw 6 months ago. Synchronized volcanic eruptions, unusual magnetic field fluctuations, energy releases from deep within the planet. You're saying Earth has fought before, Admiral Cole said. Yes. And each time the dominant life forms on the surface were wiped out. The Permian extinction killed 95% of all life on Earth. The dinosaur extinction ended 65 million years of evolution. These weren't just extinctions. They were casualties of war. The room fell silent. The implication was clear and terrifying. Earth could protect them, but Earth's protection came at a cost. Captain Daniel Hayes had continued exploring the debris field in orbit. His team had recovered alien technology and, more importantly, alien data. Dr. Lisa Morrison had spent months decoding their records. I found something, she announced during a video conference with Earth Command. The aliens kept extensive records of their campaigns. They've destroyed 473 civilizations over the last 20,000 years, but they also kept records of places they avoided. She brought up a star chart marked with symbols. These are guardian worlds, places where they detected defensive systems like Earth's. There are 63 of them scattered across this region of the galaxy. Have any of them been tested? Asked Admiral Cole. 3 times. All 3 times the armadas sent to attack guardian worlds were destroyed. The aliens learned not to approach these systems unless absolutely necessary. Then why did they come here? President Santos asked. Lisa pulled up more data. Because we broadcast our presence. Radio signals, television, communication, satellites. We've been telling the universe we're here for over a century. The aliens knew there was technological life on Earth. They probably expected us to be more advanced than we were. They thought the risk was worth it. And they were wrong, Jake Palmer said with grim satisfaction. But Lisa looked troubled. There's something else. According to their records, guardian worlds don't last forever. The defensive systems eventually break down, wear out, or go dormant. 3 of the guardian worlds in their database showed signs of failing. The aliens were planning to attack them within the next few centuries. How long does Earth have? Maria Santos asked. I don't know, Madam President, but the fact that Earth was still in deep dormancy when the Armada arrived suggests it's been a very long time since it last activated. The systems might be old. They might not last another major conflict. This information cast a shadow over humanity's relief. They had been saved, but perhaps only temporarily. Amy Lou had made her own breakthrough. Her AI systems, designed to find patterns humans missed, had discovered something strange in Earth's behavior during the battle. The planet was responding to us, she explained to President Santos in a private meeting, not just to the threat but to humanity specifically. Its weapons avoided population centers. Its electromagnetic pulses didn't damage our technology. It fought in a way that protected us. You're saying it cares about us? I'm saying it recognizes us. It knows we're here. It knows we're intelligent. And I think it made a choice to protect us rather than simply destroying everything on the surface to eliminate the threat. That's good news, isn't it? Amy hesitated. Maybe. Or maybe it means Earth is judging us, deciding if we're worth protecting. Madam President, what if next time it decides we're not? This question haunted the world's leaders. They had learned they lived on a sentient weapon, something that could destroy them as easily as it had destroyed the alien armada. The question wasn't just how to study this phenomenon. It was how to live with it. Dr. Kevin Wright proposed a new field of study, planetary consciousness. Teams of scientists from every discipline worked together, trying to understand what Earth truly was. Geologists, physicists, biologists, philosophers, and even religious scholars collaborated on the greatest mystery humanity had ever faced. We need to think of Earth not as a place we live on, but as an entity we live with, Kevin told a conference of researchers. We need to understand its needs, its limits, its nature, because our survival might depend on maintaining a good relationship with our own planet. This led to immediate policy changes. Environmental protection became not just an ethical issue but a matter of survival. Industries that polluted or damaged the planet found themselves shut down. New technologies focused on working with Earth's natural systems rather than against them. We don't just owe this to future generations anymore, President Santos said in a global address. We owe it to the very ground beneath our feet, to the entity that saved us, to Earth itself. But not everyone agreed with this approach. Some religious leaders claimed Earth was a tool of their God, that the planet had responded to their prayers. Others said Earth itself was divine, deserving worship. Debates raged about the nature of what had saved them. Captain Daniel Hayes received new orders. He was to lead an expedition to one of the other Guardian worlds identified in the alien database. Humanity needed to know if these other worlds were like Earth, if they hosted intelligent life, if they could learn from each other. The ESS Horizon was repaired and upgraded with salvaged alien technology. It would be the first human ship to visit another star system since learning the truth about the galaxy. "Are you sure about this?" Lisa Morrison asked him before they departed. "No," Daniel admitted. "But we need to know what else is out there. We need to understand the network of Guardian worlds, and we need to find out who built them." The expedition would take years, even with improved faster-than-light technology, but humanity now understood they were part of something larger, a defensive network that spanned the galaxy. They needed to know their place in that network. Before the Horizon departed, Sophie Green made one final discovery that changed everything. She had been studying the crystalline structures that rose from the ocean during the battle. Most had sunk back into the trenches, but a few remained visible, allowing detailed examination. "They're not just technology," she reported excitedly. "They're archives. Data storage on a scale we can't comprehend. And I think I've figured out how to access them." Working with Amy Liu's AI systems, Sophie managed to extract fragments of information from the crystals. What they found was a message, encoded in mathematical patterns that translated across any language. The message was simple, but its implications were profound. "To those who live upon Guardian worlds, you are protected but not alone. We who came before you seeded the galaxy with defenses against the darkness that dwells between stars. These defenses will serve you well, but they are not infinite. Learn, grow. One day you must take your place as guardians yourselves. The torch must pass to new hands. We leave you this gift of time. Use it wisely." The message was billions of years old. It came from a civilization that had risen, peaked, and vanished before Earth's sun had fully formed. They had looked ahead to a future they would never see, and left guardians to protect the life that would someday arise. President Santos read the message to the world. "We are not just protected," she said. "We are entrusted. Entrusted with a responsibility to become worthy of this gift, to grow beyond our current limitations, to one day join those who guard others as we have been guarded. This is our purpose now, not just to survive but to evolve, to learn, to become a species that can protect others, not just ourselves. We have been given time. Let us use it to become worthy of the gift we received." 6 months after crying out to God and hearing Earth answer, humanity faced a new future. They were not alone in the universe. They were protected by ancient powers. They lived on a world that